Wanted to make a video on how to make an Ethernet cable. This is CAT5e. I have it wired in T568B, which is this right here. You could also use T568A. They're essentially the same. T568A, I believe, used to be the standard, and I believe that like the U.S. military, if they have like a contract out for any kind of IT work or networking stuff, they require T568A to be used. And I think the only reasoning behind that is because there is the backwards compatibility on two. There's backwards compatibility on two pairs instead of with T568B. There's only backwards compatibility on one of the pairs. I could be wrong in this. I'm not an IT person. I have some self-taught knowledge in making cables and stuff like that. So but yeah, so T568B has kind of become the new standard in a sense where like for AT&T, I believe, has an old wiring system that it's compatible with or whatever. I'm not sure. Regardless, they'll both work. I think for new installations, technically, it's recommended to use T568B. I don't really know the reasoning why. It's just what I've read and what I've been told. I always use T568B when I've wired. I've run CAT5 in my own house. I've wired it all up T568B. So it really, I guess, it's just a preference on which one you like to use, whatever. But either way, they're both basically the same. The only difference is the orange pair and the green pair are swapped positions. So in T568A, your green pair is 1 and 2. On T568B, your orange pair is 1 and 2. And on T568A, your orange pair is 3 and 6. And on T568B, your green pair is 3 and 6. So they're just swapped positions. So this was just an old cheat sheet I've had for a long time. I actually got this from a school I went to a long time ago. And I wrote on here like it's plugging in because this essentially is like you're looking at it as if it's plugging in like this. So, the wires want to be, this T568B, you want to have the wires be put into the connector like this. You don't want to put them in upside down like this because that would be wrong. So you don't want this little tab to be up. When you put on the connector, you want it to be in this direction. So anyway, enough about that. That's just a little thing I've had forever. I don't really use it anymore because I don't necessarily need it. I've made enough cables that I know how to make it. So we're just going to do one real quick here. I'm just going to cut off one of these ends. It's unnecessary. I need a knife. Okay. So you can use one of these for this, where you literally just stick this in here. It'll cut off the back end, and it'll also do this where it like cuts it so you can just pull that off. But it sometimes will nick the wires. It's not focusing. And regardless, it sometimes nicks the wires, and it also it doesn't give you a whole lot of room to work with. So I like to just take like a sharp blade and just cut the outer jacket off. So then you have a lot more to work with. And this little nylon string here is intended to be able to pull and tear the jacket, but it only really works if you already have like a slight tear to begin with. And it really just, I don't ever use it. So, okay, so the inside of a CAT5 cable has 4 twisted pairs. You have orange, you have green, you have blue, and you have brown. So all four pairs are twisted, and then all four twisted pairs are twisted together, which you can kind of tell in the inside this jacket that they are twisting. So the idea behind that is data transfer moves faster through twisted wires, whereas if the wires were all just in here straight, they wouldn't. The speed you would get from the cable wouldn't be as much as if they're twisted. So that's why they're twisted. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna untwist these ones, untwist all the wires you have here. You just untwist them all at once, or you can do them all as you're lining them up. Either way. So it's gonna go white, orange, orange, and I'll say white, orange, meaning that's the striped wire. So white, orange, orange, and then you're gonna be white, green. Get it untwisted. So white, green, and then this green gets split. So then it's gonna be blue. Much easier to do this without trying to keep it in the camera frame. So we got that. So we got the white blue goes right beside it, and then you're gonna have the green. You want to try to get the wires straightened out here as much as you can. It'll make it much simpler when you're putting it into the RJ45 connector, which I'll get to here in a minute. Okay, and then we're gonna do white, brown. Oh, come on. And then brown. So I tried to squeeze them and kind of run your finger up the wires to try and straighten them out as much as you can, so that you have essentially what looks like this. So now that we have them in the order, it's white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. So that's the order of T568B. Now, what you're gonna need, where to go, is this, which is an RJ45 8-pin Ethernet connector. I have a whole box of them. This probably costs maybe $20. I'm not sure. It's usually about $1 a connector, so $20, $25, whatever. This thing is ancient, if you can't tell, or if any of you know. It's from Radio Shack, which Radio Shack hasn't existed for, I'm not even sure how many years now. But it's old. This probably costs like $20. You don't really need a super expensive one unless you're doing this every day of your life as a job. But yeah, that's it. So that's really it. So now there's a couple ways you can do this part. You can either, you want this jacket to go inside about that far, because there is a little, whenever you crimp it, this little plastic piece will push down and clamp down on this jacket. You can see it here, how it's clamped down there, whereas this one is not. It's still up inside the other plastic part. So, but you don't need that much wire, and you want these to stay twisted inside this jacket here. So you can slide this on here, and you want to make sure everything stays in order. So we're still in order there. You can tell white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. And you're going to want to make sure they all stay in their own groove, and they're going to slide all the way up in here. So you can leave them like this and push it all the way up. Which this is actually kind of nice because it'll leave them in the order, and now they're completely separated because it's coming out of the holes in the front. So you have it all the way up in there as far as you can get it, and then you still have white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. So it's in the right order. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your crimper and you're going to slide this into the 8-pin slot, and you're just going to squeeze it. You hear a little crack. That's just a little plastic piece getting pushed down. So then there you go. It's in there, and you're all locked down. The little teeth in there have been pushed down into the wires, so it's making contact with every wire. And then all you really need to do here is you need to cut off the end. So I don't have the best tool for this right now. I need like a pair of side cutters. Okay, so just gonna cut off all those wires there. Which, see, this is why I don't really like doing it this way, because it's really difficult to get it cut totally flush, I guess, in a sense. So usually I'll trim my wires beforehand before I do that, so that I don't have to deal with that. But anyway, you get the idea. It's nice to do it that way because you can see when it comes out that they're all in the right spot, but at the same time it's hard to trim them flush unless you have like some crimpers will have a blade on the backside that cuts it whenever you crimp it. Mine doesn't, so that's why I don't usually do it that way. I'll usually just cut it off. I'll cut my wires down short so that when I slide them up, they come up to the end. So, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to leave this like this, and you get the idea here. So that is how you make a CAT5e Ethernet cable in the T568B standard. I don't think there's anything else I can really say. I'm going to do a punch down video next, so I'll wire one of these up in T568B so that you can essentially plug this into here, like if you had this into a wall plate. So, but we'll get into that when I do that video. Thanks for watching.